The secret underground civilization hidden under Antarctica. What if I told you there's an entire hidden world beneath Antarctica? A world that's been sealed away for millions of years, completely untouched by human eyes until now. While we're up here dealing with sub-zero temperatures and brutal winds, beneath that mile-thick ice sheet lies something absolutely mind-blowing. We're talking underground lakes the size of entire countries, ancient river systems that haven't flowed in 34 million years, volcanic caves teeming with life, and research facilities that look like something straight out of science fiction. Scientists have discovered over 400 hidden lakes beneath the ice, massive caverns filled with unknown organisms, and landscapes that tell us Antarctica wasn't always the frozen wasteland we see today. Join us as we reveal the secret underground civilization hidden under Antarctica. Lake Vostok, the buried ocean. How in the world does a freshwater lake the size of Lake Ontario exist under 2 miles of solid ice? It's called Lake Vostok, and it's the largest subglacial lake on Earth. Back in 1996, Russian scientists confirmed what seismic readings had been suggesting. There was a massive body of water hidden beneath Vostok Station. This isn't just any lake, it's 250 kilometers long, 50 kilometers wide, and contains between 5,000 and 6,500 cubic kilometers of liquid water. That's roughly the same volume as Lake Ontario, making it one of the largest freshwater reserves on the planet. Here's where it gets really fascinating. Lake Vostok has been sealed off from the outside world for at least 15 million years. For the microorganisms living in that pitch-black, high-pressure environment, it's like a time capsule. In 2012, Russian scientists finally drilled through the ice sheet, and what they found shocked everyone. In fact, they discovered over 3,500 unique bacterial species, many completely unknown to science. In 2020, researchers even found a genetic sequence from a rock cod, a fish that shouldn't exist there. Look at this, an entire ecosystem thriving in complete darkness, under crushing pressure at temperatures that would kill most life forms within seconds. Would you want to explore what else might be swimming down there? The 34-million-year-old lost world. What's this massive ancient landscape doing buried under a mile of ice? Back in 2023, an international team of scientists using satellite radar made an incredible discovery. They found an entire ancient world frozen in time. It's called the Wilkes Land Formation, and it spans an area roughly the size of Belgium. This landscape hasn't seen sunlight in over 34 million years. The terrain includes river valleys, rolling hills, and a network of waterways that once supported lush vegetation. In fact, before Antarctica froze over, this region was covered in temperate forests and rivers similar to those in modern-day New Zealand. The landscape sits at depths ranging from 2.7 to 4.6 kilometers beneath the ice, preserved perfectly by the frozen conditions. Scientists believe this area was carved by flowing rivers between 80 million and 34 million years ago, back when Antarctica was connected to Australia and South America. For an ecosystem that thrived millions of years before humans existed, the preservation is absolutely incredible. You can see the distinct channel formations, the drainage patterns, and even the remnants of ancient coastal plains. This discovery is helping scientists understand how quickly ice sheets can form and what happens when our planet undergoes dramatic climate shifts. Mount Erebus, the volcanic underworld. Have you ever imagined a volcano with permanent lava lakes and ice caves that harbor life in one of the most extreme environments on Earth? Welcome to Mount Erebus, the world's southernmost active volcano. Standing at 3,194 meters tall, Erebus is Antarctica's second highest peak and contains something truly unique, a permanent convecting lava lake at its summit that's been active for decades. But here's the real kicker. The volcano's geothermal heat creates an intricate network of ice caves beneath the surface. These aren't your typical frozen caverns. The caves stretch for kilometers underground, with temperatures inside reaching up to 25 degrees Celsius. That's warm enough to walk around in a t-shirt. Scientists exploring these caves in 2023 discovered DNA from mosses, algae, and small invertebrates living in complete isolation from the surface world. Look at this, steam vents rising through the ice, creating natural skylights that illuminate these otherworldly chambers. The caves are constantly changing too, with new passages melting and old ones freezing over. Antarctica is home to more than 100 volcanoes, each potentially hosting its own hidden network of habitable spaces. Despite the hostile conditions outside, life finds a way in these volcanic pockets. The 85 Hidden Lakes discovery. What if I told you scientists just discovered 85 previously unknown lakes beneath Antarctica's ice, and they're all active? In September 2025, researchers using data from Europe's Cryosat-2 satellite identified these subglacial lakes hidden beneath the ice sheet. That represents a 58% increase in known active lakes compared to previous inventories. Here's what makes these lakes active. They're constantly filling and draining, causing the ice surface above them to rise and fall like a slow-motion heartbeat. Some of these lakes can drain billions of cubic meters of water in just months, flowing through subglacial channels into other lakes or directly into the ocean. In fact, one lake researchers monitored lost 2.3 cubic kilometers of water over an 18-month period. The largest known lake, Vostok, contains enough water that if it suddenly drained, it could affect the entire East Antarctic ice sheet's stability and contribute to global sea level rise. What makes this even more interesting is that these lakes form an interconnected network beneath the ice, essentially an underground river system that moves water across hundreds of kilometers. For the hidden ecosystem living in these lightless waters, this network provides highways for nutrients and potentially even migration routes for microorganisms. The hidden ecosystem below Ross Ice Shelf. How is life thriving 600,000 feet below solid ice in complete darkness? Despite the challenges, scientists drilling through the Ross Ice Shelf in 2022 discovered something shocking: a massive cavern extending at least 10 kilometers, teeming with life. The environment down there is absolutely hostile to most life as we know it. No sunlight penetrates the ice. Temperatures hover around 2 degrees Celsius. Pressure is immense. But when researchers sent cameras down into the cavity, they found dense colonies of amphipods, shrimp-like creatures coating the sea floor. Look at this. Thousands of these organisms clustering around what appears to be chemosynthetic bacteria feeding on methane and sulfur compounds seeping from the bedrock. In fact, scientists counted over 20,000 individual organisms per square meter in some areas. The cavern appears to be growing, boring further inland at a rate of about 200 meters per year as warmer ocean water melts the ice from below. For the creatures living in this pitch-black world, survival depends on chemosynthesis, converting chemicals into energy, just like organisms near deep-sea hydrothermal vents. This discovery suggests that similar ecosystems might exist beneath other ice shelves throughout Antarctica, the South Pole underground city. What's this sprawling underground complex doing at the bottom of the world? It's called the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, and it's the southernmost permanently inhabited place on Earth. The original station was built in 1956, but it's been rebuilt twice because here's the crazy part: the ice moves and buries everything. The current facility sits on hydraulic jacks that can be raised as snow accumulates, and it houses up to 150 people during the summer months. The station includes an 80,000 square foot elevated building containing living quarters, laboratories, a greenhouse, a gym, and even a small store. But the real underground action happens in the station's network of utility tunnels and the IceCube Neutrino Observatory. IceCube consists of 5,160 optical sensors buried between 1,450 and 2,150 meters deep in the ice, making it a cubic kilometer particle detector. Scientists literally turned a cubic kilometer of Antarctic ice into the world's largest telescope for detecting neutrinos from space. The station also maintains ice tunnels for storage and research, including the shrines where workers have created unusual memorials and displays. For the crew spending 8 months in complete isolation during the Antarctic winter, these underground spaces become their entire world. At first, I thought it was just a research station, but it's more like a self-contained city buried in ice. If you're enjoying these incredible underground discoveries, make sure to subscribe for more amazing explorations like this. Mercer Subglacial Lake, life in eternal darkness. Have you ever imagined what kinds of organisms could survive sealed away for thousands of years? Mercer Subglacial Lake sits beneath 1,085 meters of West Antarctic ice and has been completely isolated from the surface for millennia. Back in 2019, scientists used a clean hot water drilling system to reach the lake without contaminating it. A massive technical achievement requiring years of preparation. What they found was remarkable. Despite never seeing sunlight and existing in near-freezing temperatures, the lake harbored a diverse microbial community. In fact, researchers identified bacteria and archaea that have adapted incredible survival strategies, some metabolizing sulfur compounds, others surviving on minimal nutrients by entering dormant states for decades. The lake water itself is ancient, containing chemical signatures that reveal information about Antarctica's climate history going back hundreds of thousands of years. years. The sediments at the bottom of the lake contain an even longer record, potentially stretching back millions of years. For the microorganisms living in these sealed environments, evolution has taken completely different paths than surface life. Scientists believe studying these extremophiles could provide insights into how life might exist on icy moons like Jupiter's Europa or Saturn's Enceladus. The Gamburtsev mountain range mystery. What are mountains the size of the Alps doing buried under 2 miles of ice where nobody can see them? They're called the Gamburtsev Mountains, and they're one of Antarctica's greatest geological mysteries. Discovered in 1958 by Soviet scientists using seismic equipment, these peaks reach heights of up to 2,700 meters, but they're completely hidden beneath the East Antarctic ice sheet. Here's what makes them so puzzling. Mountain ranges typically form from tectonic plate collisions or volcanic activity, then erode away over millions of years. But the Gamburtsevs are located in the middle of an ancient, stable craton that hasn't experienced tectonic activity in over 500 million years. In fact, scientists believe these mountains should have been eroded flat long ago, yet somehow they've maintained their dramatic relief. Recent research using ice-penetrating radar revealed that the mountains actually helped trigger the initial growth of the Antarctic ice sheet around 34 million years ago. Their peaks caught snowfall, which gradually built up into the massive ice sheet we see today. The mountains also host numerous subglacial lakes in their valleys, creating a complex hydrological system. Look at this: entire mountain peaks, valleys, and ridges that have never been photographed, never been climbed, never been directly explored. They're Earth's most inaccessible mountain range. Blood Falls, the Iron Mystery. How in the world does bright red water pour out of a frozen glacier? It's called Blood Falls, and it's one of Antarctica's most visually striking phenomena. Located in the McMurdo Dry Valleys, this 5-story waterfall appears to bleed crimson liquid from the Taylor Glacier, and the explanation is absolutely fascinating. Back in 1911, explorer Griffith Taylor discovered the falls and initially thought the red color came from algae, but scientists eventually determined the real cause. It's ancient seawater trapped beneath the glacier for over 1.5 million years, rich in dissolved iron. When this water occasionally breaches the glacier surface, the iron immediately oxidizes upon contact with air, creating that blood-red color. The source water comes from a subglacial lake roughly 400 meters below the ice, and that lake is incredibly salty, about 3 times saltier than seawater, which prevents it from freezing despite temperatures around 10 degrees Celsius. In fact, the lake harbors unique bacteria that survive without sunlight by metabolizing sulfur and iron compounds in a process scientists call chemosynthesis. For an ecosystem that's been isolated for over 1 million years, the microbes have developed metabolic pathways found nowhere else on Earth. This discovery revolutionized our understanding of where life can exist. The sub-ice ocean cavities. What's this massive ocean cavity doing under the Thwaites Glacier? Scientists using ice-penetrating radar discovered a cavity roughly 2/3 the size of Manhattan, and it's growing. The cavity sits between the glacier's base and the bedrock, measuring approximately 350 meters tall at its highest point and containing about 14 billion tons of ice that melted in just 3 years. Here's why this matters. Warm ocean water is flowing into these cavities from below, melting the glacier from underneath at an alarming rate. Thwaites Glacier is already contributing about 4% of global sea level rise annually, and if the entire glacier collapses, it could raise sea levels by over 65 centimeters. But there's another angle here. These cavities might harbor life. Recent expeditions that dropped cameras into similar cavities found them teeming with fish, crustaceans, and other marine life. Look at this. Creatures thriving in what should be an inhospitable environment, squeezed between ice and rock with limited food sources. In fact, scientists found species over 20 kilometers inland from the ice shelf edge, far further than anyone expected. These discoveries suggest that the boundary between ice sheet and ocean isn't as barren as we thought. It's actually an active frontier where life adapts to extreme conditions. The Dry Valleys Underground Network. Have you ever imagined valleys so dry that they haven't seen rain in 2 million years, yet they contain hidden underground rivers? Welcome to the McMurdo Dry Valleys, the largest ice-free region in Antarctica. These valleys cover approximately 4,800 square kilometers and receive less than 10 centimeters of precipitation annually, making them drier than the Sahara Desert. But beneath the valley floors, scientists have discovered something unexpected: liquid water. The valleys contain several permanently ice-covered lakes, but more intriguingly, they host a network of underground streams and aquifers that flow through the permafrost. In fact, during the brief Antarctic summer, glacial meltwater creates ephemeral streams that disappear into the ground, feeding this hidden hydrological system. Lake Vida, one of the valley lakes, has water at the bottom that's 13 degrees Celsius but remains liquid because it's 7 times saltier than seawater. Scientists drilling into Lake Vida in 2002 found it harbored viable bacteria, despite having no contact with the atmosphere for over 2,800 years. The valley floors also contain peculiar soil communities where bacteria, fungi, and even tiny nematodes survive on virtually no water. Despite appearing completely lifeless from above, life persists underground in these extreme conditions. Which of these hidden underground worlds surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button. The Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory. What if I told you scientists have turned a cubic kilometer of Antarctic ice into a telescope that can see through the entire planet? It's called Ice Cube, and it's the world's largest neutrino detector. Between 2004 and 2010, engineers drilled 86 boreholes between 1,450 and 2,450 meters deep into the ice near the South Pole, deploying 560 basketball-sized optical sensors. These sensors detect the faint flashes of light that occur when neutrinos, nearly massless particles that can pass through entire planets, occasionally interact with the ice molecules. In fact, Ice Cube detects about 100,000 neutrinos per year, and in 2013, it made history by identifying neutrinos coming from outside our solar system for the first time. The detector works because Antarctic ice at those depths is incredibly clear, clearer than most laboratory-grade materials, making it perfect for detecting the faint Cherenkov radiation neutrinos produce. Look at this, strings of sensors suspended in boreholes arranged in a hexagonal pattern, creating a massive underground array. The facility requires its own power plant and network of surface buildings, but the actual detector is completely buried in the ice. For scientists studying cosmic rays, supernovas, and black holes, this underground observatory provides a window into phenomena happening billions of light years away. The Subglacial Research Network. Have you ever imagined a network of robotic explorers mapping Antarctica's hidden underworld? Scientists are deploying increasingly sophisticated technology to explore beneath the ice without drilling. Autonomous underwater vehicles equipped with cameras, sonar, and sampling equipment can be deployed through relatively small access holes, then navigate subglacial lakes and cavities on their own. In 2023, researchers successfully deployed a torpedo-shaped robot called IceFin beneath the Ross Ice Shelf, where it explored the grounding zone, the critical area where ice meets ocean. The robot captured high-definition footage of the ice shelf's underside, revealing a complex terrain of channels, terraces, and even upside-down ice hills. In fact, IceFin discovered that the ice-ocean interface is far more dynamic than scientists previously thought, with rapid melting occurring in unexpected patterns. Another project called the Simple Robot is being designed to bore through ice autonomously, collect samples, and even search for life in subglacial lakes without risking contamination. These underwater cavities can extend for tens of kilometers, creating vast, unexplored territories. For the scientists controlling these robots from the surface, every mission reveals surprises, unusual ice formations, unexpected currents, and signs of life where none should exist. The future of Antarctic exploration lies in these robotic systems that can go where humans simply cannot. So there you have it. Antarctica isn't just a frozen desert on the surface. Beneath that ice lies an entire hidden world that's been sealed away for millions of years. We've explored subglacial lakes the size of Great Lakes, ancient river valleys that predate human civilization, volcanic caves hosting unexpected ecosystems, and research facilities that sound like science fiction. From Lake Vostok's isolated microbial communities to Mount Erebus's geothermal cave networks, from the 34-million-year-old buried landscapes to the robotic explorers mapping underwater cavities, every discovery reveals just how little we truly know about our planet's most extreme continent. These underground environments aren't just curiosities, they're helping scientists understand how life adapts to extreme conditions, how our planet's climate has changed over millions of years, and potentially how life might exist on other worlds with subsurface oceans. As technology advances and we develop better ways to explore beneath the ice without contaminating these pristine environments, who knows what else we'll discover? Ancient civilizations? Probably not. But perhaps ecosystems more bizarre than anything we've imagined, geological features that challenge our understanding of planetary science, and climate records that could help us predict our future. What do you think is still waiting to be discovered beneath Antarctica's ice? Could there be even larger cavern systems we haven't found yet? Might some of these isolated lakes harbor truly alien forms of life? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your theories. If you enjoyed this journey into Antarctica's underground world, check out our video on the deepest holes ever drilled or hidden worlds beneath the ocean floor. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible explorations like this. Until next time, keep wondering what lies beneath.